Have you ever thought what it'd feel like to be the muse of like a Renaissance painter? Always being that person that you eventually, some down the line, everyone's gonna be like, wow, I wonder who she was, or I wonder who he was. I don't know. Sometimes I think about that, and I just like find that to be really fascinating. Like this person was just, kind of there just to be painted, and like would probably sit for a few hours, maybe to days and stuff like that. And would they have ever known they would be as famous as they are now? Who knows? But anyways, hello everybody. This is That Manga Dude, and welcome to another reading log. This is September's reading log. I read quite a bit of manga. I think almost 60 volumes this time around. I've increased my reading significantly because of things that occurred in my life recently. But yeah, I've been really enjoying reading manga a lot. I mean, I always do, but more now than I did before. So I've been really enjoying it. I've been really trying to push myself to try to finish up my reading log, or finish up, not my reading log. Wow. Finish up my to be read out of my entire collection. I've read most of my collection, if you didn't know this already, but yeah, definitely wanted to push myself to try to finish off more and more. So there's not that many that are sitting unread. Anyways, let's get started right now. Okay, so the first manga that I read in September of 2023 is going to be the 5th volume of The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses from Koumi Fujichika. And yeah, so basically we just get more development between the couple the friends for now. But we're starting to see the feelings of the girl character, the main girl, is starting to actually show like some kind of affection towards the main lead, which is like kind of like finally, although she kind of already felt like she had like something for him, but now it's like almost like guaranteed. It's been locked in. So hopefully we get more development coming into the next volume. But yeah, just another cute little series. Been really enjoying my rom-coms recently. So yeah, this one's been good. Alright, up next, I decided to read this big chungus. That is Emma, Volume 2 from Keiō Romori. Follows the story of Emma, who is a maid in England. And yeah, so recently she just moved back towards her hometown, is now working for, I believe it's like a German family. But yeah, so she kind of like is trying to like move away from her life back in England, or back in London. And yeah, it's been really interesting, especially because the main male lead, which I'm forgetting his name now, but he's heartbroken. He's kind of like being forced into this relationship because his dad is not approving of his relationship with Emma, because Emma is a maid, and that's not seen as very cool because he's part of like a rich family. So yeah, it's just really unfortunate, like love that is separated by just really terrible things. Oh, it's so sad. It chokes me up inside. But yeah, another fantastic volume. Art always gorgeous as usual. But yeah, we start to see more of the characters starting to connect and intertwine with one another, which also is like kind of nice. Keiō Romori's really good at connecting characters, like, or helping you to connect, like kind of like a stringboard in terms of connecting characters to one another and how they're all related to one another. How the world is not as large as everyone makes it out to be. So yeah, another great volume. Really happy to have read this. Alright, coming up next, I read the 3rd volume of Touring After the Apocalypse from Sakae Saito. So yeah, this is a series that I've been talking about quite a bit, and I think it's because I just don't see a lot of people talking about it, which is really a shame because this series is actually pretty awesome. Follows the story about these 2 girls here on the front who are basically touring around Japan after, like it says, after the apocalypse. There's some kind of natural disaster that it seems to have happened, and so she's like kind of traveling to the places that her sister traveled to in order to just see like this world after, and obviously because it's like open and free now. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. There seems to be like some kind of sci-fi mystery that's going on, especially when they get to the racetrack in this specific one. It's a really good series. I've been really enjoying it. Hopefully it doesn't end anytime soon. It's probably gonna be one of those series. It's only gonna be 5 volumes and I'm gonna cry. But yeah, this series is pretty awesome. You should definitely check it out if you're into like that like sci-fi mystery apocalyptic story. That's a little bit more lighthearted. So yeah, this one's good. All right, up next, I read the My Wandering Warrior Existence from Nagatakabe. This is the current, or the newest of the Nagatakabe autobiographical mangas. And this one's just basically talking about her story, about how she like does and does not want to be married, and all of like the kind of like criticisms that she receives from people, like, oh, you're not married yet, blah 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 blah, and like how the association with marriage is like considered like the next step in life, and how she doesn't necessarily see it that way herself. But yeah, this series, this specific volume out of all of them is actually my least favorite, and I'm not sure why. I think it's just because I wasn't as interested per se, or like at least like maybe I'm just getting tired of like the autobiographical story that Nagatakabe tells. But yeah, this one is still a pretty good volume. It's just not my favorite out of all of the things that she's written or has been published in English. So yeah, this one's still pretty good. I would say still pick it up if you like Nagatakabe's work. You're going to get more very well written experiences and just overall helping you to empathize with her story going through all this stuff because she goes through quite a bit. Alright, up next, I read the second volume of Under Ninja from Kengo Hanazawa. This series is wacky, it's crazy. I talked about it before, but yeah, the first volume was just weird, strange. That's exactly how I feel about the second volume. Really good action, the art is kind of cool. It's also kind of like weird and it's just a really weird series. But basically it tells a story about like a bunch of ninjas who live in Japan and they kind of just do secret missions throughout Japan and across the world, and yeah, it's about one of these dudes who's super slacker, kind of a loser, and he's becoming a ninja to try to sneak into this school in order to find out some information. But yeah, another weird one. We continue to get some development with some of the other characters, and especially this other character that I like kind of forgot about, not gonna lie. But yeah, still a good series, and a really good print too. Dempo did a really good job with this, so I really like this a lot. And we're back to it. I just wanted to make sure I was checking my video footage just in case you could hear the sound of like the people working outside my apartment complex because they are loud and it is very loud for me, but I'm not sure if it was picked up. It doesn't appear to be, so maybe it will be in the final cut. We'll see. Anyways, the next volume I decided to read was Real, Volume 1 from Takehiko Inoue. So this is the another big series from Takehiko Inoue, the same mangaka behind Vagabond and Slam Dunk. Another basketball series for him, and this one is follows a story about like this kind of like this kid who's kind of like a hoodlum in a way, and he's quit the basketball team just because like he just can't stand it. The players are kind of just really terrible people, but he eventually meets this wheelchair basketball player who's really into it, and they kind of develop a rivalry slash friendship, and yeah, it's really interesting. I'm really excited to keep reading the series. I just wish the volumes were a little bit easier to find because yeah, they are very hard to find, and I don't like buying online. So yeah, but overall, very good basketball series. It's still great. It's got more of like the realistic style that he has in Vagabond versus more of like that loose style that he has in Slam Dunk, but still very good. Really enjoyed it. Alright, up next, I decided to read the 8th volume of My Love Story from Kazune Kawahara and Aruko. I discussed this before, but I was basically binge reading this in August and having a really great time, but I decided to slow down just a little bit so I can savor the story a little bit more. But this series continues to be amazing. Follows a story about Takeo, this gigantic dude in high school, and how he falls in love with this like really cute girl, really nice, who... It's like just like kind of like the complete opposite of him, but that's what makes him so great. I don't know, I really enjoy them. I like their relationship a lot. Takeo finally meets her family for the first time in this specific volume, and it's really awkward, but it's exactly what you'd expect. It's super cute. I don't know, I love this series quite a bit. It's a fantastic rom-com series. Definitely give it a shot. It's a ton of fun. Alright, coming up next, another one from Yen Press that people don't seem to be talking about too much, which is, once again, a shame. And that is Yokohama Station SF, Volume 2 from Yuba Isukari and Gombe Shinkawa. So, I believe this is a light novel as well. I believe it's a light novel first and then a manga second. But this series is super cool. If you like a sci-fi dystopian series that's really strange, has a cool, interesting mystery to it, I'd say give this a shot. It's a lot of fun. The art is really, really good too. Very much surprising that no one's talking about it, but yeah, the mystery keeps building. There's a lot of like interesting concepts that are introduced, and I love a lot of the designs that they use for like the sci-fi world. And yeah, so overall, it's just a ton of fun. Definitely give it a shot. All right, up next, Volume 3 of Honey Lemon Soda from Mayu Murata. So this one is really cute. I like this volume a lot. We started getting into the preparation for the school festival, and our main character is struggling to basically rein in the class, and she gets talked over, and she just is like struggling a lot until she eventually creates a plan and just executes it, and everyone like starts to back her because it's like a really well executed and well planned out plan. So yeah, it's a really cute series, and I'm really enjoying the character development that we're getting, especially with her in this 3rd volume. Glad to see it, happy to see it. It's awesome. All right, up next, a series that I talked about in my FVI for September. You should definitely give it a shot. That is DRCL Midnight Children Volume 1 from Shinichi Sakamoto. This is a fantastic Volume 1. I really, really like this. It was super cool. The art is great. It's gorgeous. It's really well detailed. The story, I mean, if you've read Dracula, I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a retreading of that story. But yeah, overall, this is great. I really enjoyed it. The characters are really fun. The art is gorgeous. There's a lot of beautiful spreads across the board. And just a really good release from Viz. I'm kind of actually really surprised about it. But yeah, definitely give it a shot if you like Dracula, if you like vampires, if you like a really detailed manga. I'd say give this a shot. It's really creepy at points. It's super fun. Alright, up next. Decided to read Volume 13 of Mashle, Magic and Muscles from Hajime Komoto. And yeah, I've talked about this series quite a bit, and I think it's definitely getting, you can definitely tell it's getting to the end. I think is the best way to put it. I still am enjoying it. I'm still having a fun time with it. I think if you take it a little bit less seriously, it's more enjoyable. Obviously, like, the action is not amazing or anything, but the art is still actually really good. There's some really cool moments, as you can see here. Just, like, overall, some really cool magic ideas and, like, styles and just designs. But, yeah, you can definitely tell the story is really kind of running on fumes, which is fine. We've kind of just been thrown arc into arc into arc into arc, with not a lot of breathing room in between, which you would think would be needed for a comedy series like this, but you know, we can't really turn it back. The series is over, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is. It's just a fun, goofy little Harry Potter / magic in general satire. Alright, up next, I decided to read the third volume of Welcome to Demon School, Rumakun from Osamu Nishi. This is a fun series. I've been really enjoying it, honestly. It's been a ton of fun. I love seeing, like, all the random character interactions, and I'm really glad that the story is not super episodic. Like, obviously there is a lot of moments where it's, like, episodes or whatever you want to call it, but at least there's, like, development and pushing towards something further down the line, which I really appreciate for these kinds of series. And I know the series is pretty long, so I'm kind of curious as to how these characters are going to continue to develop with each other and all this stuff. But yeah, it's just pretty funny. It's a good time. If you like Rosario Vampire, but you didn't like all the fan service, I think you should give this one a shot, because it's they're kind of similar in that way. Alright, up next, I read the third volume of Insomniacs After School from Makoto Ojiro, and oh my goodness, I love this series so much. It's so cute, it's so adorable, it's so beautiful. There are so many things I could say about the series that I'm pretty sure I've already mentioned before. It's a great series. It's really lovely. I love the characters, I love the art is great. It's, man, I don't know, it's everything what I would want out of a, like, kind of a rom-com series. More of like a slice of life coming of age story, I guess, is probably more accurate. But overall, this is great. Really enjoying it. It's beautiful. It's fun. Definitely give it a shot in general. I don't care what you like or what your background is or what you tend to enjoy. Please just give it a shot. See how you feel about it, because I love this series. Alright, up next. Decided to read another rom-com. Remember how I said I was like in my rom-com era? Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible from Nene Yukamori. This is volume 9. Yeah, the series just continues to be really cute, really fun. I just enjoy it. They go to like they finally do the festival moment, or whatever you want to call it, the festival cliche. The one where like the fireworks happen, and it's just cute. I don't know, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. There's not much else to say about it. It's almost like Komi in that kind of instance where you just kind of have to read it. I mean, I'm this deep into it, so I'm not going to be like, oh, this is terrible. It's still fun. It's cute. It's fluffy. But, you know, it's nothing like mind-blowingly amazing or anything. But, yeah, if you like rom-coms, definitely give it a shot. Alright, up next, excited to read the first volume of House of Five Leaves. This is from Natsume Ono, who's one of my favorite mangaka, if you didn't know that. Yeah, and it follows basically this samurai for hire who is kind of like the opposite of a samurai. He has like no charisma, is very quiet, just kind of just does whatever. So he gets kind of caught up in this whole scheme of things, which is interesting. It's kind of like, I don't know, there's something about how it's written. The art is obviously really cool. I really appreciate like Natsume Ono. I know some people might not like her style, but I really appreciate it. I think it's really neat and really unique. overall, it's a cool story. I'm kind of interested to see where it goes, of course, from here. But yeah, I really like how he's been kind of hooked into just a really bad scheme, and it's kind of interesting to see like the morality scale kind of swing back and forth for all of this. But yeah, great volume, really enjoyed it. Alright, next, another one that I read for the FBI. This is The Darwin Incident from Shun Umezawa. This is the first volume of a wacky, kind of weird series following the story of a human Z named Charlie here in the front. And yeah, it's about his story of being a human Z and weird vegan stuff. And it's just, yeah, it's really strange. I don't know, it's a very strange manga. But yeah, if you want to just read something just like completely out there, very odd, with some pretty cool action scenes, I would say give this a shot. It's pretty, it's something. Alright, up next, I decided to read the next volume of Blue Box. This is volume 6 from Koichi Miura. So yeah, this is after all of the national stuff, and yeah, we get some development with our characters here because our girl, spoiler alert, is going to be moving out for a month because her mom has come back to Japan. So she's going to be living with her for a month, and yeah, our main character doesn't know what to do about that. So now he feels awkward, but also kind of like, yay, so it's interesting, it's weird. I can't wait. I don't know, I like the series a lot. I've completely been hooked in, hook, line, and sinker. I'm stuck into it. I really enjoy it. It's just a fun, cute sports rom-com series. More of the rom-com than it is the sports. But yeah, love it a lot. It's a ton of fun. Can't wait to read the next volume. Alright, up next, I decided to read Like a Butterfly Volume 2 from Sue Morishita. It's cute. I think is the best way to put it. It's cute. It's just a little rom-com series. The art is nice. It's really nice. And yeah, basically follows the story about these two super introverts and how they are kind of slowly but surely falling in love. And yeah, I don't know, there's not much else to say about it really, because there hasn't really been any development per se. They're just kind of going through what you'd expect, like the motions, but I like it. It's fun. I'm gonna read the next volume for sure. Alright, up next, I decided to read the first volume of Blade of the Moon Princess from Tatsuya Endo, another one that I did for the FBI for September, and yeah, I thought this was fine. It's a kind of like a unique retelling of the classic Princess Kaguya story. In this instance, she's sent down to the moon. She's sent down to a prison planet, Earth, because there is a coup going on where her family is basically being kicked off the throne. But if she's alive and she has this sword or this blade, then they cannot officially take over for the government. So yeah, it's a strange one. I still enjoy it because I like Tatsuya Endo stuff, so the art's going to be really good. But overall, the story is kind of like fine. I'm not really attached to any of the characters just yet, so we'll see if that gets better as we move on. But yeah, for the first volume, it's not too bad. If you like shonen stuff, probably should just give it a shot. Alright, up next, I decided to read the first volume of Katakano from Masami Suda, and this was super funny. I was dying at some of the parts. Basically, it follows a story about this, like, perfect girl who gets, like, great grades. She's super popular. She's, like, well-known for being athletic and smart and blah, blah, blah. But in actuality, she's, like, very pompous, very much like, oh, yeah, I'm all about myself kind of person when she's at home. So when someone finds out about it, basically her kind of like rival now, because he's also super smart, he's blah blah blah, he's kind of like one-upping her and everything. So when he finds out about her little weirdness, yeah, they start to develop a kind of like weird, whatever you want to call it, friendship. But yeah, it's odd, it's weird, but man, it is super funny. I was dying at some of the like things in this. It's so funny, and I'm excited to read more of it. Honestly, it's kind of cute. Alright, up next, I decided to read the next volume of Kimono Jihen that I had. This is Sho Aimoto's Volume 2. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine, and like, I'm not, it's another one of those ones where I'm not super interested in everybody. Like, the characters are fine. The main character specifically is kind of like a cardboard box. Like, he's just not interesting at all to me. But the action is kind of cool, and there's some nice character designs for like some of the monsters and stuff like that. But overall, yeah, I'm not really hooked on this. It's fine. It's good, I guess. But yeah, definitely not my favorite. It feels very much like a stock standard shonen series, and that's okay, I guess. But yeah, definitely not what I was expecting when I was reading it. Alright, up next, I decided to read the third volume of Kenichi Kondo's Dark Gathering. Yeah, this is a really creepy series, and it just keeps getting creepier. Yeah, oh, there's some... flipping through it, there's like a really creepy one specifically in this volume with an elevator, which if you've read the series, then you probably know what I'm talking about. If you don't, well, I guess you just have to read it, but... really good horror series. If you like horror stuff, you should definitely give it a shot, especially because now it is October and it is the perfect time to be reading horror things. So yeah, this is a good one, and I wish more people were talking about it as well. Alright, up next, Volume 1 of Bleach, Shima Shinya. Fantastic, wonderful, lovely. I'm biased, kind of. Yeah, Shima Shinya is quickly become one of my favorite currently making things mangaka. I think they're remarkable at writing. I think their art style is super unique, fluid, clean at points, really good use of black, like using it as negative space and positive space. It's awesome. I really enjoy all of the series, and Glitch is no exception. Another good one. If you want more information, go check out my FVI for September. I talk about it way more in full there, but yeah, it's a great story. The art is great. It's a good start, and it's a pretty fast read too, so awesome to have this, and yeah, definitely give it a shot. Alright, I decided to read 5 volumes of Claymore, so that is 21 through 25, and yeah, oh man, Claymore is flippin' awesome. I decided to pick it up again because I have officially picked up the last 2 volumes of the series, so now I'm officially fully collected. So yeah, I like Claymore a lot. This is Norihiro's Yagi series, following the story about these fighters, these warriors. They're all women who are defeating these demons known as Yoma across the country and world. And yeah, but there's definitely some stuff happening in the background, and that is discussed more in volumes 21 through 25 when they eventually do their invasion of the Order. And yeah, I don't know, it's really fun to read. The action's great. And the art is very rendered in a cool way. I think it's like unique to this series specifically because it's not super realistic, but I do really like the rendering a lot, quite a bit. It's fun. It's great. It's a pretty quick read too, I would say. Even though these volumes can be a little bit text heavy sometimes, the action really helps it to move and flow really well. So yeah, been really enjoying it, and I will be talking about the end of the series in October because I've actually just finished it recently. But yeah, this is a great part. We're getting into the last arc in this section of manga volumes. Okay, up next, the third volume of Dinosaur Sanctuary by Itaru Kinoshita. This is another great series that I've been really enjoying from Seven Seas. Yeah, follows a story about this girl whose dream has always been to work at a dinosaur sanctuary. So she eventually gets her dream job, and she's just learning just how difficult and hard it is. But this specific volume's got this really awesome like map in it. I just think it's super cute. I love it when like manga publishers put in these little details because they're just really fun. Even though like they are a pain in the butt to keep in to not get bent, I do really enjoy when they are placed in a volume. And yeah, this one she's basically working in a variety of sections and areas to get an idea of where she's going to be working permanently. And yeah, it's just a really cute series, and I've been really enjoying it. And yeah, if you want some actual genuine dinosaur facts, you should definitely read this because there is a lot, and it's great to check out. Alright, up next, I decided to read the second volume of Daemons of the Shadow Realm from Hiromu Arakawa, her newest series. And yeah, this is it's pretty good. I actually like it more than the first volume. We get some more like information about not necessarily who the antagonist is, but we do get more content about the main character's actual sister. And yeah, it's just cool to see. I like a lot of the abilities that they keep showing off, and yeah, I hope this series continues to be really cool, because I can't wait to keep reading it. Alright, up next, I decided to read My Special One Volume 3 from Momoko Koda, and yeah, so some mild spoilers. She's officially in a relationship with this guy, and I'm still not like 100% sure how I feel about that, because I don't know how big the age gap is. It feels like it's bigger than I would think, which is kind of I don't know how I feel about it truly, but yeah, it's still a cute little volume. I do like her relationship with him. Like, it's not creepy or weird per se, but they're just trying to figure it out, and I kind of appreciate that. That's what they're going with for this specific idol age gap romance series. But yeah, it's funny still, so I'm probably gonna keep reading it regardless. Alright, up next, I decided to read Part 2, Volume 1 of Chainsaw Man, also known as Volume 12 from Tatsuki Fujimoto. And, yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling about this new main character, this girl here on the front. She's kind of weird, I think is the best way to put it. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel also about this kind of like, slice of lifey Chainsaw Man, but we'll see how I feel about it later down the line as we keep reading, I guess. Alright, up next, I decided to read Bingo Bango Stray Dogs Volume 5 from Kafka Asagiri and Sango Harukawa. Yeah, this series is awesome. I kind of wish I had started this earlier, so I would have been on like the hype train. I know this series has a bajillion anime seasons, and I think it's definitely worth having those anime seasons because it's just a cool manga. Basically, like, it's a, I don't know how to explain it. It feels like a fanfic in a way, because it's like all of these characters are based off of like writers and creators from back in the day. So you have characters like Nathaniel Hawthorne and stuff like that, and Osamu Dazai, who's this guy here. And yeah, it's just really odd, but all of their abilities are super cool, and it's just a ton of fun. And yeah, really well drawn. The action's super cool. So this one had a kind of interesting, like, war basically started between the three main factions. So it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here. I'm pretty far behind, so definitely need to keep catching up on this. Alright, up next, I read the second volume of Until I Love Myself, The Journey of a Non-Binary Manga Artist by Poppy Pasuyama. And yeah, this was great. This is a really good 2-volume autobiographical manga based off of Poppy Pasuyama's life story, and their feeling about everything, because like it is a lot. There is a lot that happens within their life, which definitely you should just read it, but make sure to look up the trigger warnings for it. There are a ton, I would argue, and yeah, it goes through a lot, but I feel like it's really passionate. It's very well not well conceived, I guess, is a nice word, is a way to put it, but it's really well written. I think it's great to read, just to see like what people deal with on the daily and how these kind of feelings and experiences change how they are in general. So definitely give it a shot. It's actually like thought-provoking. That's the word I'm looking for. It's very thought-provoking. So definitely give it a shot, see how you feel about it, and let me know if you've read it in the comments below. Alright, up next, I decided to read the 14th volume of Uprise Story from Kei Mori, the newest volume. You know, I had to do it. This is basically Horse Race, the volume, which, if you've read it, it's totally understandable, but man, this was a great one, and we meet the absolute amazing princess, or whatever you want to call her. She's amazing. She's awesome. I love her so much. She's so cool. It's great. This was a really good volume. I really, really appreciated it. And I like how we're getting more development with one of the other clans, as well as with like the developments with basically the invasion of Russia. And yeah, we'll see where it goes, because we're starting to get more of that historical stuff coming in. Less of the slice of life, which I do appreciate both of these aspects. So I'm really glad we're getting kind of like a nice like teeter-totter between both of them. But yeah, fantastic volume. I continue to love this series. It's great. Alright, up next, I finished up my reread of Yu Yu Hakusho. This is volumes 11 through 19, which takes us from basically the last match of the Dark Tournament into the final arcs. And yeah, you know, I was reading this again, and I didn't realize how short the fight between Toguro and Yusuke is. It's actually way shorter than I remember it being. But then again, I also read it monthly, so it was a little bit different. But yeah, reading it in a volume form, I was like, man, that fight was really short, and I actually think I liked it more when I was reading it in the magazine. Yeah, I think Dark Tournament is still a ton of fun, but it's definitely lowered in terms of my thoughts of it being a really good tournament arc. I think it's better at the beginning, and it's kind of slowly but surely fizzles out, but we still get some really cool moments. I still like the fight between Toguro and Yusuke. It's still a ton of fun. And yeah, the last arc is definitely there. So overall, Yu Yu Hakusho was awesome. I still had a really great time with it, even if it did kind of out towards the end. But still a really fun series, and definitely worth a read, especially if you like Togashi. I think if you like Togashi, this is definitely a must read. You have to read this. But overall, great time. I had a good time with it, and yeah, I'm glad I'm finished. Alright, up next, I decided to read Emanon Volume 4 from Shinji Kajio and Kenji Saruta. This series is so awesome. Yeah, we finally get I would argue an ending to Emanon Wanderer, that story specifically. I've talked about this series a lot, but basically follows the story about this girl named Emanon, who is basically the manifestation / creation person who kind of knows everything that's happened in the history of ever. And it's her character is trying to cope with that as she lives through it and watches people that she loves pass away and move on. And it's like, what would you do if you had all the information of the entire history of the world? How would you feel about that? What would you do with it? Like, would it matter to you? Do you care? How does it affect your relationships with others? Especially if you know that these people are not going to be a part of your life forever. So, I don't know. It's an interesting kind of weird, not necessarily, not mind-numbing, but it really makes you feel existential. I think it's the best way to put it. But yeah, fantastic. I still love it. The art is gorgeous. Can't really flip through it because there are some explicit stuff that YouTube would get all mad about. But yeah, overall, it's great. I really, really enjoy this series. Alright, up next, I decided to read The Town of Evening Calm, Country of Cherry Blossoms from Fumio Kouno. Yeah, so basically this is a story. It's kind of a mix of short stories told throughout post-World War II Japan. Some of the characters are suffering from what is believed to be radiation sickness and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a really sad story in a way. There are some really cute moments. I like that it's printed on this kind of it's not typical. It's not typical paper. It's kind of smooth, almost not glossy, but I guess it is glossy. But yeah, it definitely feels like photo paper instead of your typical printer paper or paper that they use for manga. So I kind of appreciate that. It probably won't be yellowing as much. But yeah, I think if you can find this, I would definitely give it a shot. It's not super long, as you could tell. Oh, there we go. It's not super long, if you could tell. But yeah, I believe this is supposed to be a companion piece to In This Corner of the World. So I want to find that manga as soon as I can, but it's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it already, you should definitely give it a shot. But yeah, I like this a lot. Alright, up next, I read this absolutely gigantic Gladiola Volume 1. This is Glacier Bay's big, I would say one of their biggest releases. But yeah, this is a short story collection, a variety of stories that don't necessarily are connected to one another. But this is a really pretty cover, just as a note. But reading through this is a ton of fun. You get a nice mix of different characters, stories, art styles, and just, yeah, I don't know. There's something about reading through these kind of these compilation stories or compilation story collections is always enjoyable. Even if you don't like all the stories, I think these are definitely worth a read because you never know what you're going to find and if you're going to find another favorite manga of yours. But specifically for this one, my favorite stories are Meeting at Mandarake and Walnut River. So those are my two favorite stories. So if you read Gladiola, I guess just keep that in mind or something. But yeah, overall, this was a really great read. Probably one of my more favorites in terms of story collections because I actually liked most of what I read. I think there was only one or two stories that I didn't care for, but which, yeah, that's actually kind of impressive considering that there's 12 stories or something like that in here. So yeah, overall, really great release. This is an awesome manga to have. Alright, up next, I decided to read the 2 volumes of Midori Days, volumes 2 and 3, from Kazuo Oru Inoue. Wow, I don't know why I had such a hard time. This guy is not related to Takahiko Inoue, but yeah, this manga is weird, it's stupid, it's very much of its age, gives me a lot of pretty face feelings, or aesthetics, if you want to call it that. But yeah, it's just a stupid comedy series following the story about this dude who's known to have like a really powerful devil's right hand. But one day he wakes up with this girl on his hand, and this girl is in love with him. So it's about their wacky adventures and story together. Yeah, it's strange. It's weird. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's fun. I think it's just enjoyable. I think it's just a fun 2000s stupid rom-com. But yeah, really enjoying it, and I will be reading more of it soon. Alright, up next, yes! We read Volume 6 of Wand Dance from Coffee. This continues the dance battle that is going on from Volume 5, and I believe also Volume 4. But man, this series continues to be one of my absolute favorites. It's probably my favorite that's releasing. I get super excited whenever another volume comes out. It's just a ton of fun. It illustrates dancing in such a unique and fun, beautiful way that I don't know how else to explain it, then you just gotta check it out. You just gotta check it out. It's a ton of fun. There's a lot of character growth. There's a lot of really meaningful themes that are taught throughout Wand Dance. And it doesn't hold your hand really very much in terms of talking about dancing. I think it's pretty straightforward. They let the drawings do the talking for you, which I always appreciate a bunch. So yeah, definitely give this a shot. It's a ton of fun. Up next, I decided to read the third volume of Yona of the Dawn from Mizuho Kusanagi. Yeah, this is a great shoujo series following the story of Yona here with the red hair as she continues her journey throughout this world, and she's trying to find the 4 dragons who are going to be the people who are going to help her create her army so that she can take back the throne that is rightfully hers. And we get our first dragon in this volume. We get the white dragon. And yeah, he's he is quite the character, and really excited to talk more about this as I read throughout the series. But yeah, I'm really liking the characters. The characters are really fun. They're really well written, and really enjoying even Yona's like character development just from this volume. Like, yeah, she's developing at a slow pace, but I really appreciate that they're giving her the time to let her develop. They're not going to be like, oh, she's suddenly super bajillion powerful. But yeah, I really like that she's like preparing herself, working on herself, and making herself better so she's not like a burden to them. And I don't know, I really appreciate it. It's great writing. Definitely give this a shot. It's a ton of fun. Up next, I read the last volume of My Love Mix-Up from Aruko and Wataru Hinekude. I think the best way to describe this is it's bittersweet. And I only say that because if it wasn't for this manga, who knows if I would have ever actually started reading shoujo manga. This is my first shoujo series ever that I ever started reading, and I loved it. It was so cute. It was so adorable. It made me feel so many different things. The emotions were riding high and riding low. Yeah, and I'm really glad what we got towards the end. I will say they pulled a fast one in the middle of this volume. I was about to throw a freaking fit, not gonna lie. But I'm glad that it resolves itself. Which, if you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was a lot, and it was just a beautiful series. I really love this series, and I really appreciate it for opening me up to an entirely new demographic that I was kind of stuck in my somewhat misogynistic ways, I would say. So I'm glad that it broke through that and allows me to enjoy other things than just shonen and seinen. So yeah, I thank you, My Love Mix-Up. Thank you, Aruko Sensei and Wataru Hinekude Sensei. This series was amazing. Alright, up next, I decided to read Shaman King Flowers Volume 4 from Hiroyuki Take. Yeah, it's great. We meet a new character in this one, and yeah, they're really cool. I like their ability a lot, or I like their like oversoul a lot. It's really cool. We get more information about the Flowers of Mais and the upcoming basically tournament that we're gonna get, which is the pseudo Shaman King tournament. I like the excuse they make to make this make sense, because obviously the Shaman King tournament only like happens every, I think it's 500 years. So it's like they needed an excuse as to why this is even going on in the first place. And yeah, it's fun. It's great. And yeah, I'm really liking where it's going now. It took a little bit. I will say, like I said, I thought the first volume was fine, but as we've continued to read through it, it keeps getting better and better, which I always appreciate. This is a good volume. All right, another one that I was super happy to get, Aki Ide's Go With The Clouds North by Northwest, Volume 6. Hallelujah, we finally got it after like 2 years? A year and a half? I don't know, it was a long time, but another great volume. We get some very heartbreaking news in the beginning of this, and yeah, it's about our main character coping with that unfortunate and just horrible news. And it's interesting to see because usually he doesn't show a lot of emotions. So yeah, really enjoyed it. It's a great volume, and yeah, it talks a lot about death and how to cope with it and how it affects people around you and the people in general. So yeah, it's a good volume. Excited to keep reading the series when we get to the next one. Alright, another traveling one. I read the 4th volume of Mone Sadai's Our Not So Lonely Planet Travel Guide. And now we are in South America, and now we get to meet this guy's brother and his girlfriend. And yeah, their story is interesting. I really appreciate it. I thought this was a really good volume. Once again, talks about a lot of great themes, and we get more development between the characters, and we just get to see some super awesome stuff from Rio and from Bolivia and Argentina. Yeah, I love it. This manga makes me want to travel more, and I guess that's all you could ask for in this kind of manga. Alright, second to last, I read the 2nd volume of Gunsmith Cats. This is Mistfire from Kenichi Sonoda. And yeah, this series is so cool. I love the action so much. It's got beautiful art. And it has, you could tell the manga really loves cars and guns because, yeah, the characters just do not shut up about it. But I kind of like it. I don't know. There's something about it that's charming in that way. But the art is really great. The action's a ton of fun, and just overall, it's a really fun series. I'm going to be reading more of it as I keep collecting the volumes. I think I'm only missing 2 or 3, so yeah, I can't wait to finish off this collection and have it all. And the last volume of September 2023 is The Essence of Being Amused, Volume 2 from Aya Fumino. Let me just say right now, this is a front runner for my favorite cover of the year. This cover is absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful, and I just love. If you don't know, I guess you don't know this, but as an artist, I always really like cramped rooms. I really like compositions that have a lot of information in it. Typically an overload of information, but that's because you can find all of these little things throughout it. And yeah, this one is a great example of it. The colors are gorgeous, you can kind of tell. But yeah, we just continue the story following the 1st volume, and yeah, her character is just struggling, man. She is going through it. But she enters into an art program, so she's trying to get into college again. And yeah, it's about her journey of trying to find herself and what art actually means to her. So yeah, overall, it's a great volume, and I'm really sad there's only going to be 3 volumes. But yeah, that's going to be it for this reading log. What did you read in September of 2023? Let me know in the comments below. Did you read any of the things that I read, or have you read them before? What did you think of them? Let me know in the comments below as well. And you know what to do. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe. Those are all amazing things. I really appreciate it. And as of this recording, I am going to be going on vacation for about a week, which is going to be really great. But it's not really going to affect the uploads of videos. You'll still be seeing them. I've already filmed everything ahead of time. So yeah, you'll be getting videos nice and easy, nice and early. And it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.